It is Thursday, February 18. Welcome to CGN News. An international tribunal has found that the Jamaican government violated the rights of a gay man and a lesbian, according to a ruling released Wednesday. The ruling was issued by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights in September 2019, but the commission had kept it confidential until Wednesday. This is now the landmark LGBT human rights case for the entire Caribbean region, said Human Dignity Trust, a United Kingdom-based legal organization that presented the case in 2011. The trust represented Gareth Henry, who attorneys said is a gay man living as a refugee in Canada, and Simone Edwards, a lesbian they say was forced to flee Jamaica. A spokesperson for Jamaica's government did not immediately return a request from the Associated Press for comment. Within the first 8 days of Grenada receiving its first shipment of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, 146 people have received the first dose and hundreds more are set to get inoculated. A vaccination site has been set up at the island's General Hospital, and Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles said on Wednesday a second one will be established. That site will be primarily for workers in the tourism hospitality sector. Most of Grenada's hotels are now classified as quarantine-safe facilities, and all incoming visitors are required to be quarantined. The island's priority list for distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine also includes law enforcement officers, such as police and prison officers. The Barbados government has announced a weekend curfew as part of efforts to further restrict the unnecessary movement that it said is contributing to the spread of COVID-19. The announcement came from Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, even in the midst of a national pause that includes a 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Bostic expressed concern that despite the current period of pause, people appeared to be, quote, leaving home for the sake of leaving home, end quote. Referring to the high volume of traffic on the island's roads, Bostic said he recommended to Prime Minister Mia Mottley, quote, to do a little more, end quote, to inhibit travel, particularly over the weekend. Bahamas Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says the 2-year closure of the Melilla Nassau Beach Resort amid the global COVID-19 pandemic is a double whammy for the tourism sector. The resort announced it will close on March 1 to undertake renovations over the next 24 months. Speaking with Eyewitness News after the announcement, de Aguilar predicted it would be a rough ride for the industry until at least the second half of the year. Overseas now, Facebook has blocked Australian users from sharing or viewing news content on the platform, causing much alarm over public access to key information. Australians woke up on Thursday to find the Facebook pages of all local and global news sites unavailable. Several government, health, emergency and other pages were also blocked on Thursday, something the tech giant later asserted was a mistake. Australia's government said the ban threatened Facebook's credibility. Facebook's move is in response to a proposed law in Australia which would make tech giants pay for news content. The United Nations chief has criticized the unfair distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, pointing out that just 10 countries have administered 75% of all vaccinations. Addressing a UN Secretary Council meeting on Wednesday, Antonio Guterres said 130 countries have not received a single dose of vaccine. He called for a global vaccination plan to bring together those with the power to ensure fair vaccine distribution to ensure all people in every nation get inoculated as soon as possible. Guterres said a meeting on Friday of the group of 7 top industrialized nations, quote, can create the momentum to mobilize the necessary financial resources, end quote. Federal agents seized over 10 million fake 3M brand N95 masks in recent weeks, the result of an ongoing investigation into counterfeits sold in at least 5 states. The most recent seizures occurred Wednesday when agents intercepted thousands of counterfeit 3M masks in an East Coast warehouse that were set to be distributed, officials said. Investigators also notified about 6,000 potential victims in at least 12 states, urging them to stop using the medical-grade masks. Officials encouraged medical workers and companies to go to 3M's website for tips on how to spot fakes. Rush Limbaugh, the talk radio host and one of the most popular voices on the American right, died Wednesday. He was 70. Limbaugh said a year ago that he had lung cancer. His death was announced on his show by his wife, Catherine. Unflinchingly conservative, wildly partisan, and larger than life, Limbaugh galvanized the listeners for more than 30 years with his talent for sarcastic, insult-laced commentary. His rants during his weekday radio show, broadcast on nearly 600 U.S. stations, shaped the national political conversation, swaying ordinary Republicans and the direction of their party. A BBC investigation into the increasingly popular live video chat website Omegle has found what appears to be prepubescent boys explicitly touching themselves in front of strangers. Omegle links up random people for virtual video and text chats and claims to be moderated, but has a reputation for unpredictable and shocking content. Global child protection groups are increasingly concerned about predators using the site to gather self-generated child sexual abuse material. The founder of the website, Leif K. Brooks, told the BBC his site had increased moderation efforts in recent months. And finally, nearly 7 million people in the U.S. state of Texas have been told to boil tap water before consuming it after a deadly winter storm caused power blackouts at treatment facilities. The huge storm sweeping across the southern U.S. has killed at least 21 people and left millions without power. Texas has seen widespread blackouts. Freezing temperatures have also caused water pipes to burst, despite attempts by some homeowners to insulate them from the cold using blankets. The state's energy grid has been overwhelmed by a surge in demand as people try to keep warm in some of the coldest temperatures there in more than 30 years, hitting 0 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 18 degrees Celsius earlier this week. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.